All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
How are you?
Very well, very well. All right. So, so as usual, we're discussing principles of living an effective life, of maximizing our stay on it, and as well how to do better in whatever it is our calling is. Okay, and as we've been discussing so far, we looked at different principles and look at it from different perspectives and see how we can actually get this to be a way we live our lives. We compare it with what is currently the norm in our society and see how this would actually, make life better for civilization, make life better for the community at large. So, as usual, we'll be discussing with Mr. Bamila Yebubo, and today's discussion will be on principle number 16, the law of greatness. The law of greatness. The law of greatness. So, sir, let's try to put it in context. Let's try to put it within a scope, because the word greatness, as it is a very elaborate and vast meaning across different sectors. So, what do you think, sir? What's your perspective on greatness?
And I think that's a very important question, because it's good we define what greatness is. What the challenge in our world today is that people also have not defined what success is. And because many people have not defined what success is, it makes people to be chasing shadow in the name of trying to be successful. So defining greatness, I think, is very critical, very crucial, very important, that we know exactly what greatness is. So I would like to say this way: as human beings, you are living on 3 levels. It's either you are living at the level of surviving, successful, or significant. So at the level of significance, you are attaining greatness already. What Maslow will call self-actualization. So at the level of being great is a sign that you are fruitful. A sign that you are not thinking of yourself, and you're thinking of others. Now, it cannot be at different levels. For some, the greatness is at a local level. For some, it's at a state level. For some, it's at a national level. For some, it's at a global level. So, depending on the impact they are able to make, and depending on the extent to which their fruitfulness has grown, in the sense that they are to be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, have dominion. So at the level of having dominion over the sphere, you can be said to be great. But like I said, it can be at different levels. And so it's good we define it very well, because if we don't define it, then someone that have been able to acquire a lot of resources, have a lot of property, is deemed to be great, and that greatness is its own definition, in the sense that nobody knows who he is. Because the being great is a sign, it's the way people see you, the fact that you are being of immense impact and benefit to their life.
Okay, so on that, so we've looked at greatness. From what you said so far, others, right? So you mentioned self-actualization as it's defined by humanity. So in a word or in a sentence, what can we say is the definition for greatness?
You are deemed great when your life is being a blessing to others. When you become fruitful, greatness begins. Like I said, it cannot be at different levels, depending on how much people you are able to influence. But immediately you start being fruitful, greatness starts. Do you know what Jesus said? My definition is just based on Jesus' definition, because he's the truth. If you want to be great, just serve. Just serve. Just serve. He that wants to be the greatest must be ready to serve. Period.
That's very, 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 very crucial, actually, because by the time we look at greatness as from the perspective of serving others, I'm not thinking about a world where everybody is actually great, where everybody is actually serving others. I mean, there'll be little cause for clashes here and there, because people are living their lives to be impactful to other people as well. So the law of greatness actually says that the path to greatness is finding the area of your calling to serve humanity and giving all your life to achieve it. The path of greatness is finding the area of your calling to serve humanity and giving all your life towards achieving it. So I want us to look at greatness from a couple of perspectives actually. Yeah, so let's first look at greatness from the perspective of a person, right? So we want to paint a scenario where I, as an individual, I want to apply the law of greatness to my life, right? And from the principle as itself, how can you paint that kind of picture from an individualistic perspective towards greatness?
How can you paint
a picture of an individual that has this goal of applying the law of greatness towards his life with the end goal of that self-actualization you mentioned?
The principle is simple. I mean, you really will not be great in an area that is not an area of your calling, because what makes you really great at the end of the day is the fact that you love what you do and you give your life to it. That's what makes it to go far. That's what increase the extent of the influence. So discovering yourself, this issue of discovering is so fundamental. I don't know how to describe it. It's so fundamental that everything seems to fall in place whenever immediately you already have an idea of exactly what you want to do with your life. But if that's not the case, what happens is you'll just be chasing shadows, because after a while, you get tired. Because in the real sense of the word, you don't love what you're doing. You're probably just doing it because you don't have anything to do. This area you just feel you want to. But if it's something you're called to do, you give it all. You give it all. So I don't want to look at it as individual or whatever it is you want to do. If it's not in your area of calling, you'll be suboptimal. You'll be suboptimal. Whatever it is you think you have achieved in that area, when you compare to what you will have done, you realize that you really have not done anything compared to what you are really capable
of. Greatness and the importance of discovering yourself.
Yes.
Discovering yourself. Now that's very, very insightful. So indeed, we can talk about greatness if I don't have a mental picture of what my area of calling is, right? So discovering my area of calling is very, very important, because greatness will be achieved in my area of calling, right?
Yes.
So that's very insightful actually. So another perspective I want to look at greatness from is environment, right? So different environments have different standards of what they feel greatness is supposed to be, or what they feel greatness is supposed to look like. But from your definition of greatness and from the law of greatness, we've seen that it's really about serving humanity, really about discovering your calling and living optimally towards it. So how can you say the environment has really shaped us as individuals towards the area of greatness? Let's come down to the third world nations that, the country we are in currently. So how has our environment shaped us and influenced our mindset towards greatness?
Our environment, in fact, the environment actually have made people not even think of greatness. Only think of survival. Only think of survival. Only think of, and it's very bad. It's very, very bad. Because we only think of survival. You know what it has done? It has made us not even think of what should be important in life, because everything is about what to eat and what to drink. So the environment does not even, people don't really think of they don't even think of others. They don't even think of others at all. A woman like Maria Montessori, a woman like Mother Teresa, they are not rich. They are not wealthy. But they were great women. Someone like Mandela is not rich. He's not wealthy. Someone like this Indian guy, what's his name again? Mahatma Gandhi. These guys are not as wealthy as the way you would think, but we're still mentioning their name. We're still mentioning their name. They've written their name in gold because of the Yeah.
Okay, that's very what's very exciting for me now is you are trying to paint scenarios of greatness, but I would like you to come a bit down to our contemporary times. You've given example for Jesus' recommendation in the scriptures. You've also given example of great men and grateful men like Mahatma Gandhi, Montessori. But also to come down to our time, is it that there's no great man or great woman in our dispensation? Or can you give us an example of such kind of people actually?
In our dispensation,
in our time,
most people who are billionaire in our dispensation are great men. Because they didn't become billionaire because they were looking for money. They became billionaire in the course of trying to solve problems, particularly those that have products, not people that are investing in shares to make money. No, not people that invest. I'm talking about people creating a lot of value that came up with an idea to solve a particular problem and solving that problem. So I'll talk about someone like Elon Musk or Microsoft, Bill Gates, or Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, and someone like Richard Branson, those kind of people that, and this lady that is helping to transform the life of young people, this Danish lady somewhere in south of Nigeria, Akwa Ibom, those kind of people who are doing great stuff that are impacting many lives, and the impact is being felt globally. There's another one in, I think, Malaysia, Malala or something like that. You know, those kind of people. Malala is not a very, very rich person, but you need to see the way they come to Nigeria. You have to go to the president have to meet her rather, to tell you how impactful the effect of her work in the Southeast Asia is. So there are in our contemporary time. I just use those examples to let us understand the fact that just because they are a number of them are well known and very common, but we have a number of people in a generation that I probably don't even know, but I'm just trying to use the very common one that many people are aware of to define, especially, and I'm a bit careful not to do, that's why I didn't mention people that have money. I deliberately did not until you're asking for the right time. I deliberately did not, so that people don't think they will only become great because they are rich or because they are wealthy. You can be so impactful and you're not that you're so well, you're comfortable, you are not hungry, but you're very impactful, and not that because you have a lot of money, but because you have a lot of impact.
That's very, 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 very important. Thank you very much, sir. So still on this issue of environment, I'm trying to blend two things now, environment and choices. Now, the average Nigerian youth, when he thinks of success, what is created, what the mental picture he has is basically what the media has fueled us with. I think having this Porsche car, having this Ferrari, living in this extravagant house, this luxurious lifestyles. Yeah, that is the picture that an average Nigerian youth have of success, have of greatness. But how do we shift from that perspective to a perspective of service, where an average Nigerian youth is now thinking about how can I impact my society? How can I live a life that is worth remembering hundreds and thousands of years after I'm gone? How do we create this mindset shift in the minds of our youth nowadays?
There are a lot of campaign needed. So much, in fact, if you know how much we need to do what you're asking for, there's so much campaign needed. We can do it. It's a lot of work, but it can be done. The mindset of the society is shaped by four sources: the school, the home, the media, and religious organization. What's interesting about all that is that religious organization is the most powerful one. It's the most powerful one because religious organization affect those in the media, affect those in schools that teach in school, affect the parents that teach in homes. But unfortunately, many religious organizations have abused that position and use it for personal aggrandizement, just to build empire for themselves and not really interested in society. In fact, the craze for money at the expense of significance and greatness is because of what people hear every Sunday, every Friday, about wealth, being rich, making money, not thinking of how that impacts society. The reason why we need a job instead of going to apply and go and begin to practice test, the reason why someone will go on the mountain to go and pray and not go and apply, waiting for it to become a miracle someone give it, is because of what he has heard. Look, the organization are very powerful. They are very powerful that they can tell people to eat grass and they will eat grass.
Wow.
They can tell them to put candle on their head and let the hot liquid or wax spread on their body, and they will do it. They are so powerful that they'll tell people to go and buy minerals, a Coke or Fanta, and see the blood of Jesus, and they will open and give it to the man, and the man will pour it on their head, and they will be bathing with it. You know, it looks weird, but that's to tell you how powerful these men of God are, and this religious organization are, and how much they can actually be. I'm telling you, the day they change, and they are not after feudal lucre again, and not after the money of the people, but after the change of values, Nigeria will change. Nigeria will change. Because they are influencing everybody. They are influencing everybody. I see, the influence is so amazing. It's so much, they're too powerful, in my opinion. Because they are respected, but they abuse their power. And of course, they abuse the people. So I think they are the major contributor, because we are what we hear every time. We are what we hear every time. Anything you hear frequently, you become. Anything you hear frequently, you become. And that's the situation we find ourselves. So you want us to change? To be able to change
that's
the mindset of the people?
That was a lot of words, actually.
You know what?
Yeah, continue. I'm with you.
Oh, I thought you were saying something. That's why I'm waiting for you. You said that hold what? You can't hear.
That holds a lot of words, actually. That the weight of those 4 different institutions in America, their influence.
But they are the ones shaping it. They are the ones shaping the society and the community. They are the one. They are shaping it seriously. They are influencing it so much. The society, we have lost it sincerely. And that's why I talk about the power of definition. The power of definition. I think if you can just get our definitions right about life, about how to live, you'll be shocked at how society will change. If you just begin to define right. If a student define the reason why it's school right, that it's not in school for certificate, it's in school to learn. And with the learning, it can acquire skill. And with the skill, it can build competence. And through the competence, he will be solving problems. And with the problem, he will create value. And with value, he will attract. It doesn't even need to go to university to be able to create that value. Talk less of now cheating because of certificate.
Interesting.
So it's a big issue in our society. The way up is down.
That's very, very, very interesting, sir.
This is a paradox. The way up is down. It's a paradox. You want to go up, stoop down and stay. History have repeated that to us several times again and again. Stoop down and stay, and you'll be great. Stoop down and say. Don't think of yourself. You can't be great by thinking of yourself.
Wow, that was.
You can't be great by thinking of yourself.
Wow, that was very, very elaborate. Thank you very much, sir. So, yes.
Go ahead.
The way hope is down.
Yes.
Very, very important. What you just said now speaks to the current situation in the country. The fact that following the skill to your trajectory you mentioned, one does not even need to go to school to actually become great.
Yes.
And that's very, very important, because we have youths that are actually just sitting at home doing nothing, when they can actually begin to pattern their life, begin to forge a path for themselves in that area that they feel that they are being called, to serve. And like you said, the way up is down. Very, 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 very important. The way up is down. So before we round up this particular section, we've looked at it from the need of discovering yourself as a path to greatness, the need to self, and the four yes, I'm correct, the four institutions that are actually shaping the mindset of our generation. So with that knowledge, I think it's very, very important that we position ourselves as youths, as humans, to begin to live our life in a way that we have greatness in perspective, in a way that we have service to humanity in perspective. So before we round up, I want you to quickly shed more light on times and seasons as it affects greatness. Because in the digital age we are currently, there are peculiarities that suits this digital age. So can you say a bit of can you say a bit on times and seasons and how they affect a man's interest in living a life that's worthwhile, that's worth remembering?
When you say time and season in the life of a man, or time and season in our world?
Time and season in our world generally.
I mean, when preparation meets opportunity, you say someone is lucky. Look at the guy, I've forgotten his name, that started Zoom. He was solving a problem. He was solving a problem. His greatness only became prominent because the seasons work in his favor. And the truth is this for all of us as humans. As long as you are serving humanity and you're doing it diligently, and you're not thinking in your locality, thinking globally, your time will come.
Globally.
Your time will come. Your time will come. Whoever desires to be great in life, it must be given to service. So that means, in my opinion, when God says be fruitful, He's indirectly saying be great. He's indirectly saying you have a seed inside of you to be great. Because you can be fruitful through your service, and that service is what will give you greatness. And it's very important to state at this point that greatness is not determined by your possession. Greatness is not determined by your prosperity. Greatness is not determined by your position. I know that's the definition in our society. Possession is the definition of people's greatness. Prosperity is what some people call greatness. And property. In fact, the fact that someone has been a minister, some people see him as great, but it's not. Because how you know greatness is when the person is out of that position, you know he was not great. He was never great. It was the position that made us to know him. Immediately he stopped from that position, you won't hear him again. But if he's great, before he got into position, he's known for his good works. And it continues even after that position. Your greatness is determined by the problem you solve, by the people you touch, and the population you help. Your greatness is determined by the problem you solve, the people you have been able to touch, and the population you have been able to help. So which problem are you solving? Who are the people you are helping? Who are the people you are touching their lives? And which population know you? Until you are able to identify that, you're not great. You're not great. And all of us should desire to be great. Why? Because he said, be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, and have dominion. So is it that he's telling you, go and be great? You have the seed of greatness in you. You don't have a reason to be mediocre. But of course, many will be. Why? Because someone must be foolish for wisdom to have value. Everybody cannot be wise. Everybody cannot be wise. And if you say someone is great, the greatness is determined by the service, is determined by the solution he has provided, and is determined by the society. So society, when we look at the enormity of your solution, we can say you are great. The solution you have had, enormity, I think the impact of that solution, the person can say is great. Or the impact of how many people you are serving, or the number of people in the society that really know that this is great. So, yes, go ahead. Go ahead with your question.
So go ahead, go ahead. I'll just comment on the importance of service.
Yes, it's all about service. So when you look at it critically, it's called that it seems as if everything about life, I mean, about living life, everything is just around service. Everything. From your growing up, the reason why you are pursuing whatever you are pursuing, the reason why you are living, the fulfillment of your calling, being great. I see everything is just around, and God made it so. So the world can be a better place. God made it so. He made it so. He made it so. So that we don't live a very selfish and self-centered life. So we don't live a very selfish and self-centered life. That's why He made it so.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very, very much, sir. It's been wow, greatness. Someone listening to this program will be thinking greatness and we hear service. Like it's like you said, the way up is down.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to know that indeed the path to greatness starts with service, service, solution, people, population, society. It's never about us. It's all about humanity. It's all about service. It's all about service. It's all about service. So, as we quickly round up, is there any other thing you'd like to add before we close for this section?
Just to say that the credibility of existence is superior to longevity of existence. The reason why we will say Jesus is great is because even though He lived for 33 years, that's to tell you that how long you live is not what determines your greatness. It's the impact you make within the time you have lived. There are people in our world that are less than 40 years, but they are impacting the whole world with their solution. The whole world. In billions. That's the way we should think.
That's
the way we should think. As long as all you think about is what to eat and what to drink and what to put on, it's about survival, you will never be great. You will never be great. You're going to be great, you have to live a very selfless life, thinking more of others and less about yourself.
Well, thank you very, very, very much, sir. It's been an interesting time learning about the law of greatness. So, to you listeners out there, don't forget, it's about others. It's about service. It's about service to humanity. It's about being selfless and serve others. And as you discover that area of calling and begin to create solutions for solving those problems, thinking globally, living the survival mindset, although that in itself can be really troubling and it comes in practicality. But let's not forget, selfless, service, the path up is what is down. Okay. So thank you very much, Mr. Babila. It was awesome.
Thank you, Chief. See you in the next section. Hoping that we'll be able to
thank you very much.
continue. Let's see how it goes.